Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So welcome back to Easy Journey to Other Planets. We have completed chapter 1 and now we're entering chapter 2 of this book. Now, interestingly, this chapter 2 is written by the editors in BBT. It's not written by Srila Prabhupada in Srila Prabhupada's original writing. So this chapter is like an appendix, is like an addition to explain what Srila Prabhupada has taught. Now, how do we know that this was not written by Srila Prabhupada? Well, it will be very clear as we read through the text in the terms of the language used, in terms of the things that they point to, which all happened after 1970s, actually. So when the BBT re-edited this and produced this book, Easy Journey to Other Planets, to be in ISKCON, this was another article that was added to the first chapter. So Srila Prabhupada wrote the Easy Journey to Other Planets as a one chapter, one article thing, and it was later divided. Anyways, it is still the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. It is like we attend a Bhagavatam class and we hear the realizations of devotees. So this is also good and wonderful to read and we can appreciate it. So let us begin. Varieties of planetary systems. That's what they have entitled it as. In these days, when men are trying to go to the moon, people should not think that Krishna consciousness is concerned with something old-fashioned. So here they say that when people are trying to the race for space. So this is what we began with this whole book. The Russian scientists were the first to go in space and America followed suit. Okay, Srila Prabhupada wrote this in the early the late 1950s, 57, 58, like that. We saw an article 1960. That's a timeline that Prabhupada wrote the first. And the race for space still continued. So let us read ahead. When the world is progressing to reach the moons, we are chanting Hare Krishna. So then they say, what is this? Foolish. Everyone is trying to get progress and modernization, and we are just chanting Hare Krishna. But people should not misunderstand and assume that we are lagging behind in modern scientific advancement. So someone should not think that just chanting Hare Krishna, doing spirituality, we are actually being left back. We have already passed all scientific advancements. We are saying that we are beyond this scientific research. In Bhagavad-gītā, it is said that a man's attempt to reach higher planets is not new. Newspaper headlines read, man's first step on the moon. So if they write this line, man landed on moon, that means the Americans landed on moon 1969. Okay, so newspaper headlines read, man's first step on the moon. They're quoting. That means this was written after 1969. Right? So they're following, if you see the style, they're following how Srila Prabhupada started. Srila Prabhupada said about this race of space is not new. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada quoted Moscow articles, right? So here also, they're kind of like following the same thread. Nice. But timeline is different. Here is 1969, whereas Prabhupada was 1959. Right? Just imagine one chapter, 10 years apart. But the reporters do not know that millions and millions of men went there and came back. This is not the first time people have been to space and back. This is an ancient practice. In Bhagavad-gītā 8.16, it is clearly stated, A Brahma Bhuvanal Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna. So this is another giveaway. We can realize that, this is the editors, because they're quoting Bhagavad-gītā and putting the shlokas in it. So Prabhupada in his earlier writings did not do that. But now they are like, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they know how to do it. My dear Arjuna, even if you go to the higher planetary system, which is called Brahma-loka, you will have to come back. Therefore, interplanetary travel is not new. It is known to the Krishna conscious devotees. Right? Using the term now Krishna conscious. These are all giveaways that this was written by the team of editors. Okay. Since we are Krishna conscious, we take what Krishna says to be absolute truth. According to Vedic literature, there are many planetary systems. The planetary systems in which we are living is called Bhur-loka. Above the planetary system is Bhuvar-loka. Above that is Swar-loka. The moon is in the Swar-loka planetary system. Above Swar-loka is Mahar-loka, then Janar-loka, then Satya-loka. So just to make some sense of this, you can see this photo here, this picture. This is the 14 planetary systems. Now this is one Anda, Brahmanda, one shell. You can see the whole thing is just inside one shell. That is one universe. Like that, there are millions and billions of such universes, and each universe, there are so many levels of planetary system which all have life. Okay, so we have multiple universe theory, right? We also have multiple planets, multiple galaxies. This is all there. What scientists talk about, it is there written in Shastras. So within one Anda, there are 14 planetary systems and is all populated by people of various kinds. So what they mentioned, Bhur Loka is here, Middle Earth, and then higher planetary system, Bhuvar, Swar, Mahar, Jana, and so on and so forth. Here's another representation, little more simplistic. Right? In one Anda, one egg, you can see there, right? Is the universe, and then 14 planetary systems. Bhur, Bhuvar, Swar, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, Satya. Like that is the higher planetary systems. So people want to go to the higher planets, going to the moon, which in Swar Loka. Now coming back, similarly, there are lower planetary systems as well, right? Like we saw, middle is the Earth, higher and lower. Thus, there are 14 statuses of planetary systems, 14 layers or levels of planetary systems within this universe. And the sun is the chief planet. Sun is right in the middle. The sun is described in Brahma-saṁhitā. They quote this verse. Yat chakshure sasavita sakala grahanam rajasamasta suramurtirashesha teja yasyāgnaya brahmati sambrata kala chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, Kṛṣṇa, the primeval Lord, by whose order the sun assumes immense power and heat and traverses its orbit. Yat chakshureva savita sakalagrahanam. Savita here means sun. The sun, which is the chief among all planetary systems, sakalagrahanam, is the eye of the Lord. Okay, chakshu is the eye of the Lord. Actually, without the sun, we cannot see. We may be very proud of our eyes, but we cannot even see our next door neighbor. Right? Without a drop of light, we cannot even see anything actually. People challenge, can you show me God? But what can they see? What is the value of the eyes? God is not cheap. We cannot see anything, not to speak of God without shuntain. Right? So this is the style that they are speaking like Srila Prabhupada would speak, in terms of questioning. Without sunlight, we are blind. At night, we cannot see anything and therefore we use electricity because the sun is not present. That is not the only one sun in cosmic manifestation. There are millions and trillions of suns in each universe. That is also stated in Brahma-saṁhitā. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti koteshu ashesha vasudhadi vibhuti vinnam tad brahma niskalamanantam ashesha bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Jagat Anda Koti. There are Koteshu. There are so many millions of such eggs, Brahmandas, universes. The spiritual body fulfillment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa, is called the Brahma Jyoti. And the Brahma Jyoti, there are countless planets, Koti, millions. Just as within the sunshine, there are innumerable planets. In the shining effulgence of the body of Kṛṣṇa, there are innumerable planets. So in this universe, everything is resting or surviving on the sunshine of the Lord. In that sunshine, all these planets are being nourished. Similarly, in the body, the transcendental rays coming from the body of the Lord, all the universes are pervading. We have knowledge of many universes, and in each universe there is a sun. Thus, there are millions and billions of universes and millions and billions of suns and moons and planets. But Kṛṣṇa says that if one tries to go to one of these planets, he will simply waste his time. Moving around anywhere in this material world is just a simple waste of time. Now someone has gone to the moon. But what will human society gain from it? If after spending so much money, so much energy, and 10 years of effort, one goes to the moon and simply touches it, what is the benefit? Can one remain here and call his friends to come? Hey, chalo, call all your friends, let's go. And even if one goes there and remains, what will one benefit? As long as we are in the material world, either on this planet or any other planets, the same miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease will follow us. We cannot rid ourselves of them. If we go to live on the moon, assuming it is possible, even with an oxygen mask, how long could we stay? Furthermore, even we had the opportunity to stay there, what would we gain? We might gain a little longer life, but we cannot live forever. So it's a very nice point, that people move around, try to get a higher standard of life, but ultimately the standard of life is same everywhere. Birth, death, old age, and disease, right? That is the standard of life. So if someone wants to go somewhere, it should go for improvement. where the place you don't die, where the place you live forever, where the place there's eternal happiness. But if you go anywhere only to get the same sufferings, the same problems, then what's the point? It's like not going anywhere at all. But that is impossible to live forever. And what would we gain by a longer life? Anyways, Tarah kim na jivanti, they quote the second canto verse. What is the use of trees have very long life? What's the use? So even if you say a person goes to the moon and lives for 300 years, is he going to do something substantial? Is he going to do something other than eating, sleeping, mating, and defending? So one should think, if I want long life, what are you going to do with a long life? Are not the trees living for many, many years? Near San Francisco, I have seen a forest where there is a tree of 7,000 years old. But what is the benefit? If one is proud of standing in one place even for 7,000 years, that is not a very great credit. So this section here seems to be like a lecture from Srila Prabhupada. Right? How one goes to the moon, how he comes back, etc., is a great story. And this is all described in the Vedic literature. But it is not a very new process. But the aim of Krishna Consciousness Society is different. We are not going to waste our valuable time. Krishna says, don't waste your time attempting to go to this planet or to that planet. What will you gain? Your material miseries will follow you wherever you go. Wonderful line. Wherever you go, material miseries will always follow you. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, the very nicely said by the author, Keha pape, keha punye, kare vishaya bhoga, bhakti ghanda nahi yate, yaya bhava roga. In this material world, someone is enjoying, someone is doing punya, someone is not enjoying, someone is doing papa, but actually everyone is suffering. Kare vishaya bhoga, although they think they are enjoying. So they may be papis, they may be sinful people, they may be pious people, but everyone is suffering. Actually, everyone is suffering. Who in this material world does not suffer disease? Right? Who does not suffer old age? Who does not die? No one wants to grow old or suffer from disease, but everyone must do so. Where is the enjoyment? This enjoyment is all nonsense, because within this material world, there is no enjoyment. It is simply our imagination. One should not think this is enjoyment. This is suffering. Everything is suffering. Therefore, it is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the principles of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending will always exist. Ahara, nidra, bhayam, maitunam. But they will exist in different standards. For example, the Americans have taken birth in America as a result of pious activities performed in previous lifetimes. In India, the people are poverty-stricken and are suffering. But although the Americans are eating very nicely buttered bread, and the Indians are eating without butter, both are eating nevertheless. So it seems that the very beginning were written by the, we can say probably the editors, whereas after some part, it seems that it has been taken from the lecture by Srila Prabhupada. Interesting. The fact that India is poverty-stricken has not caused the whole population to die for want of food. The four principal bodily demands, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, can be satisfied under any circumstances, whether one is born in an impious condition or in a pious condition. We see even poor people, right? So poor, orphans, everyone is still doing eating, sleeping, mating, and defending in whatever standards they have. The problem, however, is how to become free from the four principles of birth, death, old age, and disease. This is the real problem. It is not, what shall I eat? The birds and bees have no such problem. In the morning, they are immediately chirping. Gee, 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 gee. They know that they will have their food. No one is dying. There is no such thing as overpopulation, because everyone is provided for by God's arrangement. There are qualitative differences, but obtaining a superior quality of material enjoyment is not the end of life. Right? Like everyone has to eat, whether you eat at a street side hawker stall or you eat in a 5-star top-notch hotel or cafe or whatever. The principle is same, eating. That's not the end of life. That's not the success of life. The real problem is how to get free of birth, death, old age, and disease. This cannot be solved by simply wasting time traveling within this universe. Just simply moving around this universe, you cannot solve that. Even if one goes to the highest planet, Brahma-loka, this problem cannot be solved, for there is death everywhere. The duration of life on the moon, according to the Vedic information, is 10,000 years. And 1 day there is equal to 6 months here. Thus, 10,000 multiplied by 180 years is the duration of life on the moon. However, it is impossible for earthmen to go to the moon and live there very long. Right? They have very long lives. We can't do that. Otherwise, the whole Vedic literature would be false if someone could do that. We can attempt to go there, but it's not possible to live there. What a line. You want to go there? Okay, fine, you can try, but you cannot live there. This knowledge is in the Vedas. Therefore, we are not very eager to go to this planet or that planet. We are eager to go directly to the planet where Kṛṣṇa lives. We want to go where we can go, where we are told to go. Kṛṣṇa states in Bhagavad-gītā, Yanti deva vrata devan pitrin yanti pratarvataha bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhyajinopimam. One can go to the moon, or one can even go to the sun, or to the millions and trillions of other planets. Or if one is too materially attached, he may remain here. But those who are my devotees will come to me. This is our aim. Initiation into Krishna consciousness ensures that the student ultimately can go to the supreme planet Kṛṣṇa Loka. So initiation is like that visa, passport, permission, right, by which if you qualify yourself, one can actually go back home, back to Godhead. We are not sitting idly. We are also attempting to go to other planets, but we are not merely wasting time. So one should not think that someone sitting down chanting Hare Krishna is wasting time. No. Just like material scientists are doing research and building spaceships to go there, but it's a temporary arrangement. Similarly, we are sitting here chanting Hare Krishna because we want to make a permanent engagement, a permanent transition, right? Whereas scientists are doing a temporary arrangement, we want to make a permanent arrangement. By chanting Hare Krishna, go into the eternal planets. A sane and intelligent man does not wish to enter any of the material planets because the 4 conditions of material miseries exist on all of them. From Bhagavad-gītā, we can understand that even if we enter Brahma-loka, the highest planetary system of the universe, the 4 principles of misery will be present. We learn from Bhagavad-gītā that the duration of 1 day on Brahma-loka is millions of years of our calculation. That is a fact. Even the highest planetary system, Brahma-loka, may be reached, but scientists say that it will take 40,000 years at Sputnik speed, right? At the speed of the first rocket or the moon mission sent into space, Sputnik by Russians, right? It will take 40,000 years traveling at the speed of the Sputnik. Who is prepared to travel in space for 40,000 years, Prabhupada says? From the Vedic literature, we can understand that we can enter any of the planets provided we prepare for that purpose. If one prepares himself to enter into the higher planetary systems, which are said to be inhabited by the demigods, the devatas, he can go there. Similarly, if one can go to the lower planetary systems, or if one desires to remain on this planet, finally, if one desires, he can enter into the planet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So after this life, we can choose to be elevated to where the devas are, the demigods. We can choose to be degraded to where all the lower life forms are there, hellish life forms are there. We can choose to remain in this earth, right? That means if we do goodness, we go up. We do ignorance, we come down. We do activities in passion, we remain. Or forget about these 3 places which are all repetitive. One can do bhakti and go back home, back to Godhead. It is all a matter of preparation. However, all planetary systems within our material universe are temporary. The duration of life on a certain material planet may be very long, but all living entities in the material world are eventually subject to annihilation and have to again develop their bodies. These are different types of bodies. So it does not matter how long a person lives where. Ultimately, everyone, that material body has to be destroyed. A human body exists 100 years in this Kali Yuga, whereas an insect body may exist for 12 hours. Thus, the duration of these different bodies is relative, right? This human body can live for a maximum 100 years. Dogs live for 10 years. Cows live for 20 years, isn't it? So every body has a duration. If one enters the planet called Vaikuntha, Loka, the spiritual planet, however, he then achieves an eternal life, full of bliss, knowledge. A human being can attain the perfection of if he tries. That is stated in Bhagavad-gītā, when the Lord says that anyone who knows in truth about the Supreme Person of Godhead can attain my nature. One who knows me tattvata can come back to me. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna. Many people claim God is great, but this is a hackneyed phrase. Hackneyed phrase means a very cliche thing, very common thing. They say God is great, God is great. There's nothing special about this. One must know how he is great, why he is great. And that can be known from authorized scripture. You can say God is great, but why? How? In the Bhagavad-gītā, God describes himself. He says, my appearance of taking birth just like an ordinary human being is actually transcendental. There's a Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvatah. One should know that my appearance is Divyam, divine, transcendental. God is so kind that he comes before us as an ordinary human being, but his body is not exactly like a human body. So when God appears like so-called human, he's not human. Now, this is where most people from other followings or other paths or other religions, they have difficulty in understanding. Why you're worshiping like a human? He's not human. Those rascals who do not know about him think Kṛṣṇa to be one of us. That is also stated in Bhagavad-gītā. So Kṛṣṇa mentions this. Avajanati mamudha manushim tanumashritam parambhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Those who do not know me, avajananti, mam, they do not know me, this Muda, such fools, idiots. Manushim tanum ashrita. When I come as a human form, param bhava majananto, they do not know my superior nature. They think me ordinary. I'm actually the master of everything. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. We have a chance to know about Kṛṣṇa provided we read the right literature under the right direction. That's a very important thing. And we simply know what the nature of God is. Then by understanding this one fact alone, we become liberated. Right? So we have to understand the nature of Lord. If we read the right literature, right, under the right direction, being guided by the right person. It is not possible now, human condition, to understand the absolute personality of Godhead completely. But with the help of Bhagavad-gītā, the statements given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and of the spiritual master, we can know him to the best of our capacity. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, like that. Three things, if we follow, we can actually understand properly. If we can know him in reality, then immediately after leaving this body, we can enter into the kingdom of God. Kṛṣṇa says, Tyaktva deham punarjanma naeti mameti swarjuna. After leaving this body, one who is in knowledge does not come again to the material world, for he enters into the spiritual world and comes to me. The purpose of a Krishna conscious movement is to propagate this advanced scientific idea to people in general. And the process is very simple. Simply by chanting the holy names of God. So the Krishna conscious movement is to give this idea, this scientific idea to people, how that one can actually achieve the eternal. Everyone wants to travel, everyone wants to go somewhere, everyone wants to change their place, no problem. But do it eternally, don't do it temporarily. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One cleanses the dirt from his heart and gains understanding that he is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord and that it is his duty to serve him. So when immediately one chants Hare Kṛṣṇa, right? Two things one understands. One understands that one is a servant of the Lord, right? And one understands that he's actually part and parcel of the Lord. So because you're part and parcel, we realize that we need to serve him. This process is very pleasant. We chant the Hare Kṛṣṇa mantra, we dance rhythmically, we eat nice prasada, right? Chanting, dancing, feasting, as Prabhupada says. While enjoying this life, we are prepared to enter the kingdom of God in our next life, right? So success in this life and success in the next. Nice life of eating, chanting, dancing. Next life also continue. This is not a fabrication, Prabhupada says, not created. It is all factual. Although to a layman, this appears to be fabrication. Oh, you're just dreaming this up. Kṛṣṇa reveals himself from within to one who is serious about God realization. So Prabhupada says that if, to the degree that we are serious, we will understand Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Both Kṛṣṇa and the spiritual master help the sincere soul. The spiritual master is the external manifestation of God, who is situated in everyone's heart as the super soul. For one who is very serious about understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, super soul immediately renders assistance by directing to a bona fide spiritual master. So if one from within the heart is very sincere, he will get a real guru. In this way, The spiritual candidate is helped from within and without, right? Within by the Paramatma, by the Supreme Lord, and without by Guru. Okay? According to the Bhagavata Purana, the supreme truth is realized in 3 stages. First, there is the impersonal Brahman. So to understand God, understand impersonal Brahman, or the impersonal absolute, and then Paramatma, the Lord within the heart of everyone, or the localized aspect of Brahman. So Brahman means is spread everywhere, the white light, Brahma Jyoti. And then localized aspect is Paramatma, which sits in the heart of all living beings. The neutron of the atom may be taken as the representation of Paramatma. Wow, how does this come back from the beginning? The antimatter. Right? The neutron of the atom may be representation of Paramatma, who has also enters the atom. This is described in Brahma-saṁhitā. No? So there's a verse that comes. Paramanu, Paramanastam. No, he's also situated in each Parama Anu. But ultimately, the supreme divine being is realized as the supreme all-attractive person, Kṛṣṇa, with full and inconceivable potencies of opulence, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. These are the 6 opulences, Shada Aishwarya of the Lord. These 6 potencies are fully exhibited by Sri Rama and Sri Kṛṣṇa when they descend before human beings. That means Balram, Kṛṣṇa and Balram, Sri Rama and Sri Kṛṣṇa. Rama means here Balram. Only a section of human beings, the unalloyed devotees, can recognize Kṛṣṇa on the authority of the revealed scriptures. But others who are bewildered by the influence of the material energy, the absolute truth is therefore the absolute person who has no equal or competitor. So people cannot recognize Kṛṣṇa because they are bewildered by the Maya, but ultimately the absolute truth is the absolute person who has no one equal to him or comprehending. That is God. The impersonal Brahman rays are the rays of his transcendental body, just as the sun rays are emanations from the sun. According to the Vishnu Purana, the material energy is called avidya or nescience, ignorance, and is exhibited in fruitive activities of sense enjoyment. The person starts to act to please one's senses, that is known as avidya. But although the living being has the tendency to be illusioned or trapped by the material energy for sense enjoyment, he belongs to the anti-material energy or spiritual energy. In this sense, the living being is the positive energy, whereas the matter is the negative energy. Wow. Matter does not develop unless in contact with the superior spiritual or anti-material energy, which is directly part and parcel of the spiritual whole. So matter cannot grow until it has been in contact with spirit. We have seen this in the first chapter also. The subject matter of the spiritual energy exhibited by living beings is undoubtedly very complicated for an ordinary man, who is therefore astounded by the subject. Sometimes he partially understands it through the imperfect senses, and sometimes he fails to know it altogether. It is best, therefore, to hear from the highest authority, Sri Kṛṣṇa, or from his devotees who represent him in the chain of disciplic succession. So as we are reading, we're also seeing that, Prabhupada, okay, we understand there is either Prabhupada's lecture, Prabhupada himself has written with the assistance of his team. It looks like some parts mixed and everything like that. So especially the next paragraph is very giving away. This Krishna conscious movement is meant for the purpose of understanding God. The spiritual master is the living representative of Krishna who helps externally. And Krishna as super soul helps internally. The living entity can take advantage of such guidance and make his life successful. We request that everyone read authoritative literatures in order to understand this movement. We have published Bhagavad-gītā as it is. That means this is after coming to US, right? After 1969. Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, similar thing. Srimad Bhagavatam in stage. Kṛṣṇa book, the personality of Godhead. Nectar of Devotion, 1970. We are also publishing our monthly magazine Back to Godhead every month in many languages. Our mission is to save human society from the pitfalls of incarnating again in the cycle of birth and death. So it appears that Srila Prabhupada's lecture or Srila Prabhupada's writing itself, this is 1970 by now, because mentioning Nectar of Devotion, right? Earlier in the early article, Prabhupada talked about a book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We're not given the title yet. And now we have titled it, Summary Study of this Nectar of Devotion. That means it's 1970. Everyone should attempt to go to Kṛṣṇa. We have published an article now back to Godhead magazine called Beyond the Universe. This is an article written by Prabhupada, which was published in Back to Godhead. This is also 1970 or 1969, I think. This article describes a place beyond this universe according to knowledge, which is in the Bhagavad-gītā. Bhagavad-gītā is a very popular book, and there are many editions in it, in America and also many from India. Unfortunately, however, many rascals have come to the West to preach Bhagavad-gītā. They are designated as rascals. So we know this is Prabhupada, because they are bluffers who do not give real information. In our Bhagavad-gītā, as it is, however, the spiritual nature is authoritatively described. So we would like to stop here so that we can take a little slowly the sections. A very interesting read, Srila Prabhupada, either his class or his writing, kind of like, complementing what he wrote 10 years, more than 10 years ago in India, after coming to America, establishing the movement, the supplementary chapter. So it's nice to remember this history. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.